Baruch Adonai Borah. Continue on the last page, Anshei, page 32 of the Theatrical. Anshei,
zu machen freilich von Purim in dem Minsk geschehen. Wie alle sollen haben eine freiliche Purim.
Well, soon enough. I also
What's your name?
Sean.
You're the daddy?
Sure, why not? You're videoing these events. That's very nice.
Big smile. Happy Purim.
Run video.
Say Schmeichel.
Is this for the television?
For a private library.
Oh.
Big smile. Happy Purim.
Oi, Laura's wife. Correct? Hello, how are you? I'm Marty Gardner. How are you doing? We'll come down.
Comment.
Hi, good yontif. And out at this table on our left, we have like this: Morris Adams and Mrs. Adams, Doris, and my lunchman, Mr. Stein, Mr. Phil Stein, formerly official. And how's every little thing tonight? Wonderful. How's the food?
Delicious.
Is the paint strong? Good.
You did so well that you got a vacuum cleaner being delivered next week
Really?
for the shul. Not for you, for the shul, not for you.
I don't want nothing for myself.
Okay.
Vacuum cleaner delivered.
I wish you'd aim it over at Mr. Cohn. Mr. Cohn, who is our, to your right. Mr. Cohn, who is our official caterer during the week. He's getting a vacation this evening. Stand up, Mr. Cohn. Louis. That's it. You got your tie straight? Yes.
Looks good.
A1.
Fine. Chaim. He's one of the guys.
David? Oh. I remember this.
Je ging ook niet naar Misro. Net naar weg.
What's up? What circumstance? Oh, wait, don't waste your time on this.
I'll be doing a lot of essing and fussing tonight.
Maybe you should. If not, we'll squeeze you in. You should come over.
L'chaim.
L'chaim, sei gesund. Chag Sameach.
I brought my glass.
Oh, guys, take me a picture for television. Smile. Smile. Look at the camera. Would you like a roll, Sarah? I'm allergic. Thank you. To what?
Don't mach nicht an Purim. Smile at the camera, man.
Well, I can
Come on over here. Over, was lustig? Shauna, are you having a nice time at this party? I can't hear you. Well, you have to say it so this man can hear it. And put your crown on and make it with the glega. Go like this. That's it. Iris, she's shy again tonight, Iris. You know, Lori, no more treats for her. Ooh. Percy, give up the microphone for a minute. How's the food? Well, Ma, what do you think? The party's all right?
I hope next year we should see each other again.
Right. And the chopped liver?
Delicious.
Elvira, what about you?
Wonderful.
Das gut nicht essen, though.
Avenue chicken's wonderful.
L'chaim, everybody. L'chaim.
I have a big difference with you.
What are the names that I don't know?
L'chaim, gentlemen. L'chaim.
I only got two.
And friends, to our nice first annual Purim Suda. How's that? I'm certainly glad that it came out such a huge success. Hopefully it'll be an annual affair, right, Rabbi? Amen. I do want to give an honorable mention. No, please. I would like to give an honorable mention to a few individuals that were very decent supporters of this Suda. Mr. Kenny Atkins, who brought the photographer. Without the photographer, Manny. Without the photographer, it'd be half this affair, right? Next, I'd like to thank Morris Adams and Phil, formerly Fischel Stein, also nice contributors. I'd like to thank the Goldbergs, Jerry and Saul, who continually go to their pocket. Never mind myself. I do have a couple of gentlemen. Mind you, these were all voluntary. These weren't solicited. I do have a few individuals that I will solicit, and hopefully they come through. And so this will become an annual affair. Thank you, and I will now at this time introduce the rabbi who is our official rabbi, Rabbi Shmuel of Vigdor Spiru. Rabbi, please. One more thing. Hey, what's going on? One more thing. I wish to mention that without the assistance of the Or Sameach, this wouldn't be here today. Right, Rabbi? So we do thank the Or Sameach organization. Rabbi, be my guest.
What do you want to say? The response? Okay. Below him, okay. Really, I want to welcome all of you for coming tonight. And it's very heartwarming and encouraging that we can all get together like this on Purim. I just wanted to mention to you, though, you should be aware that the awareness of what's going on tonight here at the shul is known all over the world. And Mr. Bloom, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we actually received telegrams from overseas. You don't believe? Okay. We actually received telegrams from people overseas. And I don't have them here, but I can just pretty much, I can recall it for you. And one of them was that we're happy that our fair city has found a new home in the city of Toronto, and we're looking to grow in a relationship with the Minsker Shul in light of the recent events of Glasnost, and it was signed by Mike and Rosie Gorbachev. So, as you can, we really have a lot of. You'd be surprised. We had another one which I found very difficult to believe, and this was someone who said that he really would like to attend, but even after all these thousands of years, he still got his hang-ups overcoming, and that was signed by Haman. Okay. Before I do have a message. There is something I do want to say, but before I do, I just want to mention about some of the future projects that we will be having here in the Minsker. Some have been discussed with members in the shul, some are still in my mind, but one that we are really going very forward with, and it's one that possibly when you leave tonight, we'll have forms for you to fill out, and I'd appreciate if everyone would get themselves involved in this project. You know that recently in Canada we had the Calgary Olympics, Winter Olympics. Did you all follow it? Yes. Right? So anyways, we feel being a Minsk Or Sameach outreach program, and specifically the Anshei Minsk congregation, we would like to petition that we're signing petitions and going out to arrange that the 1996 Winter Olympics should be held in Minsk. And the shul but seriously, we're already in touch with some travel agents about this, and we should have a booked flight. So really, if you have anything, if you can find that slot, I'd appreciate it. We would like to make a good showing, and I think we can get some funding from the Soviets.
How about the 10-man davening team?
I think they'll win the gold. Okay. Just a quick idea that I wanted to mention, and that is that these past few weeks in the Chumash that we've been reading, laning on Shabbos, we laned about the Mishkan, the building of the tabernacle. I mentioned one Shabbos that the idea was, it's expressed that the people who donate to the Mishkan should be those who are kol nadiv libo. People who give out of ratzon hatov, out of their goodwill. Individuals who are giving of their goodwill, those are the ones from whom the donations for the Mishkan should be received. In other words, it's not just enough the final product, the final result. It's important the intention and the meaning behind the person who gave it, the meaning that he puts into what he's given is also very important. And I really think that the goodwill that we see here tonight, in everyone's coming and in all the efforts in helping this event, this Purim Suda, the Sudat Mitzvah happen, is the goodwill necessary towards revitalizing the downtown area, towards helping the Minsk Shul to be a very viable and very meaningful place for Jews living in the downtown area and even further. But something that I think is even beyond the Mishkan, which is really the idea of Purim, is that the Mishkan was the aspect of individuals giving of themselves, of their goodwill. But it was each individual looking at himself as an individual, giving of his goodwill and giving. Purim extends even further. When the decree on the Mishkan, and when the decree was leveled against the Jewish people, Esther at first hesitated, but she was confronted by Mordechai that she's got to get involved and she has to approach Achashverosh. And you have to understand that every pasuk in the Megillah has a tremendous amount behind it. There's a tremendous meaning to it, and there are many events occurring behind every pasuk. And finally, Esther, after much thinking, and let's not forget, Esther is listed in the Talmud as a prophetess. And she, after understanding the situation, she realized that's what's needed. She tells Mordechai, Lech kenos es kol haYehudim. Gather together all of the Jews. Here it's necessary to have all the Jews gather together, but not as individual Jews dedicated towards a common goal, but rather all Jews gather together where they see themselves only as a Jewish people. Not just as individuals, each one working together, but a situation where the parts is really greater, the whole is really greater than the parts. A new nucleus being formed, that of the rejuvenation of a Klal Yisrael. And that's why the rabbis tell us on Purim, you're supposed to get drunk on Purim, that you cannot tell the difference between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai. So if you can't tell the difference between blessed be Mordechai and cursed be Haman, what are we? What's left of us? But the idea is, what the rabbis are telling us is to get drunk, that in terms of our individuality, we lose ourselves and we are no longer able to tell the difference of Orur Haman, cursed be Haman, and blessed be Mordechai. But in terms of our being a part of the Jewish people, that, however, even after all that drinking, after all that imbibing, that spirit and that understanding doesn't leave us. And that's the idea of Purim, that a Jew, no matter what his particular lifestyle is at this moment, is, and if you look at the particular situation, one might question, is the person's dedicated towards, is his life dedicated and around his Judaism? But we know, that's the story of Purim, that beyond what one is doing at this moment, he's a part of the greater Jewish people. And that spirit that he has in him, or that she has in her, can be ignited. And that's what was necessary to bring about the Nes of Purim. Mr. Bloom thanked some of the sponsors here tonight. This is difficult. I think this is better. Actually, yeah, much better. Okay. Well, I'm really concerned now that some of you didn't hear the beginning, so I'll start over if you don't mind. Okay. Now, I'm sure, I had a little bit to drink, and I'm concerned that I might forget to thank someone who...
Susie,
Susie, the painting.
the artist.
I remembered her.
Did you?
Yeah, how can I forget such a beautiful painting? It's staring me right in the face, Mr. Blue. I'm afraid I might forget someone, but I'll try not to. Really, this Purim Suda tonight was a big lesson to me. because I saw the goodwill and the efforts of people go way beyond what any of us expected. And I'd like to thank, first of all, Mr. Bloom for his untiring efforts. Really, you know, you can't imagine. You can't imagine what it takes to have Lakshan Kugel at a Purim Suda. You can't imagine how many hours went into that. Also, I'd like to thank various members of the shul, the Chazan, Dave Rotman, Dave Seidelbeck, and others, and Joe, and others who were involved in helping the event take place. Also, other members of the Minsker crew, or the Minsker generation, Reb Mendel, Reb Mendel, Avada, Reb Mendel. Reb Mendel, I want you to know we have a Yid here who makes Reb Mendel is the minion maker. You know, you have brokerage firms that are a maker in a particular stock. Reb Mendel is the minion maker. He guarantees, he underwrites. Reb Mendel is a minion underwriter. If you need a minion for your shul and you don't have one for Mincha and Ma'ariv, Mendel can underwrite you a minion. Really. Mendel, what's your phone number? Okay. Also, I'd like to thank Liba Schlanger, Liba and Susie Schlanger for their untiring and uncalled for but greatly appreciated efforts. Susie Schlanger painted that beautiful picture. Mural, excuse me. Susie, it's a mural, right? Yeah, yes. Mural. And we're very proud to have that as part of the this year's Purim Suda. And Liba Schlanger for all her efforts in helping to beautify and give encouragement to others to come. Also, I'd like to thank, excuse me, just a little bit longer, but it's really important to thank the people that have been involved in this. I'd like to thank, Ron, can you do a da-da-da-da-da-da, please? I'd like to thank Ron for all of his encouragement and behind the scenes in involving people to come and contribute in various aspects, various ways. Also, I wish I could say this in a more philosophical manner, but I would like to thank Robert Scharf also for his untiring efforts in helping the Purim Suda take place, and various other volunteers, Gedalia Zweig. Let me introduce the band. We have Ron Wiseman on the keyboard, and etc. We have Gedalia Zweig on the guitar, and etc. And Hersh Vogelin. What? Hersh Goodwilling. God willing, Hersh will play for us. And if there's anyone else that I forgot, please excuse me. I really did have a little bit much. And right now we have scheduled some entertainment. And it's exciting, it's wonderful, it's enjoyable. And we're having Alan Marovitz in what I call his own fiddler on the roof. He calls it If Cows Could Fly, but I call it his fiddler on the roof. Please, Alan. We have someone who wants to give what's it called? Whatever. RCA Victor would like to say a few words. Victor?
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, the Hazan of this shul. Thank you, Mr. Bloom, that you have done this party. As I am member of this shul for more than 10 years, I would like to tell you something very important. In this nice holiday that we are all together, as it says in the David Psalm, Shira Ma'alot, הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבת אחים גם יחד. That we are all here, brother and sister, and all we have not to forget this time that Israel is in a very strategic position. We have always to be near Israel with its soldiers that are fighting and are always for Israel. to give us honor outside, I mean in the diaspora. It's nice to be here together, but please, all of you, don't forget Israel. And let us sing together, all together. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Anyway, he spoke great. We'll call on him later. Not only is this our tour, our first stop on our tour, there are some other people that are touring right now. You might have heard of Michael Jackson, Bruce Springsteen. This next song, I guarantee you they will not do. This is a song about Purim. And the words you read in Megillah, and the words are La Yehudim, which means the Jews, Haita, were, Ora Nesimcha, with light and happiness, Bisason, and joy, V'yakar, and dearness, etc., etc., etc. And if you don't know the words, just sing with your neighbor.
hasn't. And now we're going to have the, Alan Merowitz. I can't find Alan. I'm afraid that maybe Alan is disguised. I don't know. Did anyone see him? Is he wearing a costume or something that I can't recognize him? But we're going to be starting very shortly now. Alan Merowitz in his own Fiddler on the Roof. Now, if we can have quiet, please. If we can have quiet, please. Thanks. Okay. Alan's going to come on. I don't know from where, but I know it's going to be soon. Alan? Okay. I think he needs silence in order to appear. Ever hear such a thing? Oh, I think I hear him now.
Was ist das? Man darf singen und tanzen? Jetzt? Man darf singen und tanzen jetzt?
Fiddler on the Roof!
Nevada! Was ist der mehr? Wir sind nicht du in Polen. Und ihr versteht kein Jiddisch. Das ist dazu. Ja. We're not here in Poland, my friends, and you don't understand the Yiddish. Oh, je gewalt, was geht denn jetzt? Don't worry, my friends. We will speak in English. I came here to tell you a mice, a story. You know what a mice is? It's a very good story, and that's what I came here to tell you, and that's what you're gonna get. It all begins with Zayda. Moele dikke jaren zurück. Verstehst du? A long, long time ago. Zayda ist geboren geworden, eine kleine, pitzendicke Stekel, das heißt Dojura from Poland. Excuse me. Zayda was born in a tiny, no, even smaller than that, minuscule, pitzendicke. Verstehst du? Minuscule little village called Ozhar in Poland. That's where he lived with his mother, his father, his sisters, his brothers, his aunts and uncles, his cousins by the dozens, the whole mishpacha, the ganze mishpacha, the whole family. Ozhar. Ozhar. They used to say, Azar schöne Städte kenn ich gefunden in der ganzen Welt. Kennst du das auch schon? Ja. Bist du dort gewesen, wo? Azar schöne Städte kenn ich gefunden in der ganzen Welt. The prettiest little village in the whole wide world. Zayda would
That's
say.
my city.
And he would sometimes sing a little song about little villages and towns everywhere. That's mein Städtele Welt, meine Melodie von meiner kindlichen Jugend vergraben. Well, but of course Zayda was talking about Ozhar. One day, when Zayda was 14, his mother, my great-grandmother, was sitting by the window, looking down the laneway. Moishele, give me here, Moishele. Give a kick dog move. What's it? soldaten, Moschele, die darf ze wegläufen jetzt. Nimm, mein Kind, ich hab Geld und Essen reingelegt. Die darf ze wegläufen. Russian soldiers coming down the laneway. Well, Zeta didn't want to be a soldier, so he took the bundle from his mother's arms containing all her worldly wealth. He put his arms around her shoulder and kissed her goodbye. And then he ran across the fields and into the safety of the woods beyond, where he hid. But the Bofik can't think. I asked Solly Birnbaum to be my shotgun. Solly, go immediately, arrange this marriage. Solly, please, go immediately. Will you arrange this marriage instead of standing there like a schlemiel? A week later, we were married. Soon we'll be in Halifax, Canada. Soon. Come along. We had to pay the steward some money to come up here. Well, we don't look Jewish, and I had a clean white suit, so we left. We'll soon be back up from the stink. I don't know how the others stand it, especially the sick, the old. Papers! Have your papers ready! Paper, sir! Mush, wax, mush. No, this won't do, sir. You look like a Willie. Willie is a good name, sir. Willie Waxman. There you go, Willie. And he handed me a card saying, Willie Waxman. That was my new name here in Canada. And he told me there was a room over there with men who were looking for anybody who had special skills or training. So I went in to talk to them. What for me do? That's a What for me do? That's a Yes, sir. I was trained in Europe to make shoes and boots. You do? You have? Please, sir, do not go away. I will be right back. Kruma, he has a shop in his village where he wants us to come. We have a home. I was so excited. We had a home. Somebody wanted us. I didn't know where we were going, but it sounded like Auntie and Knish. So Auntie Knish was where we were going in Nova Scotia in those days. But it wasn't to Auntie Knish we were going, but to Canso, this little fishing village at the edge of the ocean where the wind never stops blowing in from the sea. But Moishe said we would always have fish. Little did I know then how much I would get to dislike fish. Boiled fish, broiled fish, gefilte fish, gehackte fish, geknappte fish, fish soup, fish cakes, fish this, fish that. Every way you could cook it, that's how we ate fish. There. We had been in Cancel for a little while and we were all invited to a big party down at the parish hall. So I talked Moshe into bringing along his clarinet. Good night, my friend. Thank you for inviting me to your party. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Keep it up.
I love being here in Cancel. Thank you. Thank you.
Don't be poor. Be a millionaire.
I could only turn those words into gold. were trying to do that for a few thousand years. This is a very, very special night, my friends. To you, it might mean a party, but to me, it's a very special date in the Jewish calendar of Adar. This is the time that we celebrate a very brave woman saving the lives of all of our people. So we drink a little, we sing a little, we dance a little. You know. For a couple of years, and quite frankly, we were getting a little lonely for andere Yidden, other Jewish people. We decided to leave. Got a ride with our neighbor to Antiknish, where we got on the train for Montreal. I baked some challah. We had lots of fish, of course, and we had those apples from Nova Scotia. Sie sind gewesen, so Geschmack. And I watched the towns and villages go by. Antiknish, Purim, Moncton, Fredericton, Trois-Rivières, Quebec City. Oh, Quebec City was so beautiful and so old. It reminded us of Europe, and they didn't speak English there. Finally, something different. What a relief. And then on to Montreal. Such a big city. Too big for us. We got back on the train at Windsor Station, bound for Ontario. And once again, I watched the towns and villages go by. Dorion, Alexandria, Winchester, Chesterville, Kentville. The farther away from Montreal we got, the bigger the names and the smaller the towns. And finally we arrived. McGregor's Landing, Ontario. Well, at least there was no wind. Huh. We lived upstairs from the old man Kessenbaum, who was forever making borscht, and quite frankly, the smell of cabbages coming through the floorboards made me so nauseous, especially when I was pregnant with the other two girls. So that made 3 girls and 1 boy. I worked so hard raising those children. They went to school, they made friends, the children were growing up in McGregor's Landing, of all places, Ontario. Sie sind Canada. What a place. Thank you very much. That's the first episode. The story continues.
Excuse me. On page, please everyone, we put out some benchers. We're going to bench now, and we put out some benchers. Please turn to page 55. You'll find on page 55 Shir Hamalos.
Give her